The night was quiet. The stars above the forest blinked softly. No one expected anything strange. It was just another peaceful night, but then something broke the silence. A loud sound cut through the sky like thunder, but deeper, a burning object flew across the stars, leaving a trail of fire behind it. It wasn't a meteor. It was a spaceship, and it was crashing. The ship hit the trees with a boom that shook the ground. Birds flew into the sky, scared. Animals ran from the sound. Smoke rose into the air. The ship was broken, burning, and hidden deep in the forest. From the wreckage, a figure moved. It was a woman, or something like a woman. She had silver skin, glowing blue eyes, and hair like flowing metal. Her name was Iris, and she was not from Earth. She stepped out of the crashed ship, breathing hard. Her suit was torn, her body was hurt. But she was alive. Iris looked around. Trees, dirt, wind, everything felt strange. This was not where she was supposed to land. Something had pulled her ship off course. She touched a small device on her wrist. Broken, no signal. She was alone. I must stay hidden, she said softly in her own language. She limped into the forest, leaving her ship behind. Far away, in a ranger cabin near the forest, a man named Eli was reading a book. He was a forest ranger. He lived alone, kept watch over the woods, and liked the quiet. Suddenly he felt the ground shake. He heard the crash in the distance. His radio buzzed, but there was no signal. Curious and alert, he grabbed his flashlight and headed out. I've never heard anything like that before, he whispered. Meanwhile, Aries was walking slowly through the forest. Every step hurt, her skin felt hot. Her head was spinning. She reached a small stream and dropped to her knees. She drank the cold water and looked up at the stars. This planet. It feels strange, she said. Then a strange feeling came over her, like a wave of weakness. Her stomach turned. She touched her side and winced. What's happening to me? Before she could think more, she heard footsteps, slow, careful ones. She stood up fast, but stumbled. Her vision was fading, her legs gave out. Everything went black. She collapsed near the stream. Eli followed the sound through the woods. His flashlight cut through the darkness. Then he saw something shiny on the ground, metal pieces from some kind of machine. What the hell? He said. He walked a little further and then he stopped. There, near the water, was a woman, but not like any woman he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered like silver. Her body was glowing faintly in the moonlight. She looked hurt, fragile. But not human. Eli knelt down beside her. Are you alive? She didn't answer. She was breathing, but unconscious. He looked around, unsure what to do. I can't leave her here. He gently lifted her into his arms. She was lighter than he expected. Carefully, he carried her back toward his cabin. Back at the cabin, Eli placed her on a bed and turned on a small lamp. He looked at her face. She looked peaceful now, but strange symbols were slowly fading from her skin. Who are you? He whispered. He didn't call the police. Something inside told him not to. Instead, he waited. Hours passed. Outside, the wind blew softly. Inside, the strange woman rested, her breathing slow and steady. Then suddenly, she opened her eyes, bright blue, glowing. She sat up fast, confused and scared. Where am I? She asked, not in English, but he understood somehow. Eli stepped back but raised his hands peacefully. You're safe, he said calmly. I found you in the forest. She looked around the small cabin. You are human? Eli nodded slowly. You crashed, he said, from the sky. Aris looked down at her hands. I wasn't supposed to. Something went wrong. What are you? She didn't answer, but her eyes filled with worry. I need to hide. They will come. Who will come? Eli asked, but before she could answer, she clutched her stomach. A sharp pain ran through her. Her eyes widened. No, she whispered. This isn't possible. Eli stepped closer. What's wrong? I feel something inside me, but I was alone. I don't understand. Iris sat up suddenly. Her heart was racing. Her skin was cold and damp with sweat. She looked around the room. Wooden walls. A small fire in the corner. Old books. Earth furniture. A low humming sound from a heater. This wasn't her ship. This was a human place. Then she saw him. A man stood near the door, watching her. His clothes were simple jeans, a jacket, boots, but his face showed concern, not fear. "You're awake," he said quietly. Iris backed up against the wall, breathing fast. Her fingers glowed slightly, ready to defend herself. "Please," the man said, raising his hands. "I'm not here to hurt you." She studied him. Human male, age unknown. Threat level unclear. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice low and sharp. "My name is Eli," he replied. "I'm a forest ranger." "I found you near the stream." Iris's mind raced. The crash. The pain. The feeling in her stomach. Was it real? "How long have I been here?" she asked. "About 10 hours. You were unconscious?" She stood up, wobbled slightly, but kept her balance. She looked at her arm. Her scanner was still broken. "No signal, no backup. I should not be here," she said to herself. "Well," Eli replied, "you are? And you were almost dead when I found you." Iris walked to the window. Outside, trees stood tall under the morning light. Birds chirped, wind moved gently, peaceful, but too peaceful. She turned back to him. "You should not have brought me here," Eli raised an eyebrow. "Would you rather I left you to die?" She paused. "No." Eli made tea. He didn't know what aliens drank, but tea felt polite. He handed her the cup. She looked at it for a moment, then took it. He watched her carefully. She was beautiful in a strange way, like something from a dream or a movie, but her eyes held secrets. "Do you have a name?" he asked. "Iris," she said softly. "Well, Iris, what are you?" She looked at him with serious eyes. "Not from your world, I figured," he said, trying to smile. The glowing skin kind of gave it away. She didn't smile back. "There was a crash," she said. "My ship was pulled off course. I don't know why." "Can it be fixed?" "No," she said. "Not without tools I no longer have." "So you're stuck here?" Iris didn't answer. Instead, she pressed her hand to her stomach again. The feeling had returned, strange warmth, like life moving inside her. Eli noticed. "Are you hurt?" "I don't know," she said. "Something is happening to me, something that shouldn't be." Eli sat down across from her. "You're not alone now. I want to help." She looked at him, confused. "Why would you help me? I am not your kind." Eli shrugged. "Doesn't matter. You were in trouble. That's enough for me." For the first time, Iris looked unsure. Where she came from, kindness was rare. Help always had a price. That night, while Eli slept on the couch, Iris sat awake by the fire. She held her hand over her belly. Her skin shimmered faintly. She could feel it again, the presence. A spark of life, but it was impossible. She had no mate. She had no memory of contact. No explanation. And yet something was growing inside her. She closed her eyes and searched her mind. Memories played like broken glass flashes of stars, a beam of light, a hum of energy. Then nothing. "What are you?" she whispered to her own body. Suddenly the fire flickered. A shadow passed the window. She stood quickly and moved to the door. Quietly she opened it. Nothing but in the distance. Deep in the forest, a blue light blinked once, then disappeared. She closed the door and locked it. In the morning, Eli woke up to the smell of something burning. He rushed into the kitchen. Iris stood near the stove, holding a blackened pan. Smoke filled the air. "I tried to cook," she said simply. Eli coughed and opened the window. "Maybe I should handle the food." She tilted her head. "Your heating tools are confusing," he laughed. "That's fair." For a moment they shared a small smile. Later that day, Iris walked outside. She felt stronger. Though the strange feeling inside her hadn't gone, she stood near the edge of the forest and looked toward the place where she had crashed. In the sky, a hawk flew in circles. "Something's coming," she whispered, behind her. Eli stepped outside too. "What do you mean?" "I don't know yet, but I feel it." He looked serious. "Then we should be ready." Iris nodded. Then suddenly she gasped and grabbed her stomach. A sharp jolt hit her. She fell to her knees. Eli ran to her. "What's happening?" Iris's eyes filled with fear. "It's growing faster." Iris lay on the wooden floor, her hands gripping her stomach. Her body trembled. The pain had come suddenly, like fire spreading from deep inside her. Eli knelt beside her. Breathe. Just breathe, I'm here. Her glowing eyes locked onto his. It's growing, too fast. This isn't normal. Eli looked confused and scared. What's growing? She didn't answer right away. Her mouth opened, but no words came. Her mind was spinning. Every breath felt heavier than the last. Finally, she whispered, There's life inside me. Eli froze. You mean, you're pregnant? Iris nodded slowly. But it's not possible. I was alone. I've had no contact. Not even medical? Scans. This shouldn't be real. Later, Iris lay on the bed, calmer now. Her pain had faded, but the feeling inside remained strange, alive, and watching her from within. Eli sat in a chair nearby, trying to understand. I'm sorry if this is too personal, he said carefully, but are your kind born like humans? I mean, do you carry children the same way? Iris looked out the window. Not exactly. We use chambers, safe, clean places filled with starlight. Our children are grown carefully, not like this, so this is unnatural. It's impossible, she said. Eli stood up and began pacing. Then how did it happen? Could it be something in the crash? Radiation? A virus? No, Iris replied, nothing like that. This feels designed, planted. She looked down at her stomach. Someone did this to me. That night, Iris sat alone in the cabin while Eli went outside to collect wood. The forest was dark but quiet. Iris pressed her fingers to her temples. She needed answers. Her memories were broken, scattered. She focused hard. Flashes came, floating. In space, a signal calling her, a strange light, a beam before the crash, and then nothing. Suddenly a sound broke her concentration. Thump, thump, thump. She looked down. Her stomach moved slightly, like something was pushing from the inside. Her eyes widened. It's awake. She stood up fast. No. She rushed to the mirror hanging on the wall. Her reflection flickered strangely, like static on a screen. Then, just for a moment, she saw something behind her own eyes, a second pair of eyes. Not hers, not human. When Eli came back, he found her sitting in the corner shaking. Iris? He asked. She didn't respond. He put the wood down and walked over. What happened? She looked up slowly. It spoke to me. What did? The child. Eli's eyes widened. You mean it can talk? Not with words. With, thoughts. Feelings, images, it's already aware. Eli sat down, stunned. That's not normal, not even for humans. It's not normal for anyone, she said. She looked him in the eyes. Eli, I think I'm carrying something that doesn't belong to any world. Over the next few days, Iris grew weaker, but the thing inside her grew stronger. She ate more, slept less. Her body was changing in small ways. Her veins glowed faintly in the dark. Her heartbeat echoed like two hearts in one chest. Eli watched with worry. He tried to keep her calm, brought her food, water, and blankets. But he knew something was wrong. Very wrong. One evening, Iris stood near the cabin window. She pointed to the sky. You see that star? She asked. Yeah, that's where I'm from. A planet called Valari Prime. We were peaceful scientists. We didn't believe in war or weapons. She looked down. But someone betrayed us. Someone sent me to Earth for a reason. But they didn't tell me the truth. Eli stepped closer. You think this child is part of that reason? She nodded. It's not just a child. It's an experiment. That night, while Iris slept, Eli went outside for air. He sat on the cabin steps, staring at the sky. He felt something wasn't right. He didn't understand alien science or star maps, but he knew danger when it was close. Suddenly, a strange noise came from the forest. A low hum, like electricity passing through trees. He grabbed a flashlight and walked toward the sound. In the distance, near a fallen tree, he found something odd, a small device, metallic, still warm. It blinked with soft blue light. He picked it up carefully. Then he heard a whisper, but it wasn't a voice. It was a thought in his head. She is not yours to protect. Eli dropped the device. His breath caught. He ran back to the cabin. Iris was already awake, standing near the door. She looked at him. You felt it too, didn't you? He nodded. Something's here. She held her stomach. They're coming. Asterisk rain fell quietly over the forest. Thin drops tapped on the cabin roof like soft fingers. The sky was gray, heavy with clouds, but inside the small wooden cabin, a storm was already growing. Aries stood still, her eyes glowing faintly. One hand rested on her stomach. The other was tight around the edge of the table. They're close, she whispered. Eli stepped closer. Who? Who's coming? She turned to him, her face pale but calm. I don't know what they call themselves on Earth, but on my world, we called them shadows. Eli frowned. What are they? They are watchers, silent, hidden. They collect knowledge, test life, build weapons out of people. Eli's stomach turned. And you think they used you? Aris nodded. They followed my ship, they pulled it down, and now they want what's inside me. Later that day, Eli and Ares walked deep into the forest toward the crash site. Rain made the leaves shine like glass. The air smelled like wet soil and secrets. We shouldn't be out here, Eli said, holding his flashlight. If someone's tracking you, they are, Ares said, but I need answers. I need to see the wreckage. After 20 minutes, they reached it. The ship lay broken, its metal shell cracked open like an egg. Smoke no longer rose, but a faint hum came from inside. Strange symbols glowed along its surface, symbols even Ares didn't recognize. She stepped closer, slowly. Her boots crunched over blackened leaves. Inside the wreckage, she found her old navigation core shattered. No data left, she whispered. Then she froze. In the dirt nearby. A footprint, but not Eli's and not hers, larger, deeper, barefoot. Wrong. Someone's been here, she said, backing away. Eli pointed his flashlight to the trees. We need to go, now. Suddenly, the flashlight flickered and went out. Darkness swallowed the forest. Then, a whisper. Not in their ears and their minds. Give us the child. Back at the cabin, Ares locked the door and closed the curtains. Her hands shook slightly. Her body ached again. The child inside was reacting, stirring, shifting. It knew what was coming. Eli stood near the window, holding a rifle he barely knew how to use. This is getting worse, he said. Whoever or whatever is out there, they're not human. They're not, Ares replied. They use old tech mental channels, cloaking, shadow suits. You won't see them until it's too late. Eli looked at her. Then how do we stop them? We don't, she said. We survive. That night, the cabin lights flickered. For a moment, all power failed. Darkness covered them again. Outside, wind moved through the trees, but it wasn't natural. It was like something breathing. Eli held a candle near the wall. We should move. Find another place. Ares didn't answer. She was staring at the wall. Symbols were burning into the wood, glowing lines. Like someone was carving from the other side. Eli grabbed her hand. We're leaving now, they packed quickly. Eli took what he could: food, water, blankets. Ares moved slower, her body heavy now. As they stepped outside, the forest was too quiet. No wind. No animals. No sounds. Only the soft click of something. Far away, they hurried down a narrow path, moving toward the old ranger tower, a place Eli used years ago during wildfires. It was miles from any road. We'll hide there, he said. High ground, strong walls. Ares nodded, but every few steps she looked behind her. She could feel them. Watching. Waiting. After an hour of walking, they reached the tower. It stood like a skeleton in the trees, tall, rusted, forgotten. Inside, it smelled like dust and oil, but it was dry and safe. For now. Eli checked the old equipment. Dead, no power. Ares sat on the floor, her back against the wall. She was sweating, her hands shaking. She closed her eyes, then she spoke in a voice not quite her own. We are not one, we are many, we are awake. Eli froze. Ares. She opened her eyes. I think the child spoke again, but it wasn't just, it was more. There's something else inside me now. I don't know how many. Eli stepped back. You mean there could be more than one? She didn't answer. Outside, the wind returned. But it carried a scent this time. burnt metal and blood. Eli looked out the window and saw nothing. But then, just for a second, he saw a figure standing between two trees. No face, no clothes. Just darkness. He blinked, and it was gone, but in its place, carved into the bark, were three words: "We see you." Back inside, Aries clutched her belly. She whispered through tears, "They're not coming for me anymore." "They're coming for what?" "I carry." Eli grabbed a heavy metal bar from the floor. "Then we fight." Aries looked at him. "No," she said. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever. "We run." The ranger tower creaked in the wind. Rain hit the windows like tiny fists. Eli sat near the door, holding the metal rod tight in his hands. He hadn't slept all night. Aries lay curled on the floor, covered with a blanket. Her skin looked paler. Her breath was faster, and her stomach was larger. Too large. Eli whispered, "How is this happening so fast?" Aries opened her eyes slowly. "It's not growing like a human. Time means nothing to it." Her voice was weak but clear. She sat up, holding her stomach. "I think it's ready." Eli's heart jumped. "What? Now?" "But it's only been days." "I know, but it's coming." Hours passed. The storm outside grew louder. Inside, the tower felt like a cage. There was nowhere else to go. Aries screamed once, sharp and quick. Her body shook. Sweat poured down her face. Eli helped her onto the old mattress on the floor. He had no idea what he was doing. This wasn't like any birth he could have imagined. Aries gritted her teeth. "You don't need to understand. Just stay with me." "I'm here," Eli said, holding her hand. The air around them began to change, warmer, heavier. The lights in the tower flickered, though there was no electricity. Eli looked around. "What's happening?" Aries closed her eyes. "It's using energy." "Pulling it from the world around us." A low hum filled the air. And then silence. A moment later, a small cry broke the stillness, not loud. Not human. Soft, echoing, like a song sung in reverse. The baby was strange, small, pale like Aries, but with dark eyes that seemed far too aware. Its skin glowed faintly, like moonlight. It didn't cry like a normal baby. It just, dared. Eli wrapped it in a towel and handed it to Aries. She looked at it in shock. "It's alive," she whispered. "Truly alive." But something wasn't right. The child blinked slowly. And then, inside Aries' mind, she heard a voice. "You are not the first, but you are the only one who stayed alive." She gasped and almost dropped the baby. Eli caught her. "What? What is it?" It spoke again, in my head. Eli looked down at the baby. Its eyes were open, watching, studying, not like a newborn, like a being. Later, as the storm calmed, Aries sat with the child in her arms. She didn't speak much. Just watched the baby. Eli brought food and blankets, but he couldn't stop looking at it. "Do you think it's dangerous?" he finally asked. Aries nodded. "Yes, but not in the way you think." "What does that mean?" "I mean, it's not a weapon." "Not yet." "But it was made to become one." Eli sat across from her. "But you said it's alive. It's thinking. It's more than a tool, right?" Aries looked at him. "That's what scares me. It can choose." That night, something strange happened. The baby floated. Just a little. Just for a second, Eli's eyes widened. "Did you see that?" Aries nodded slowly. "Its powers are waking. Already?" She nodded again. "And they'll grow faster than we can imagine." They sat in silence. Then the baby turned its head toward Eli. It reached a hand out, and Eli heard it. "You don't trust me." He stood up fast. It just spoke to me." Aries looked surprised. "It's never done that before." Eli backed away. "I didn't think it could read my mind." "It can," she said. "And it will read everyone's if it learns." "How?" Suddenly, a loud sound echoed from below the tower. A deep metal clang. Eli rushed to the window. He saw movement in the trees. Figures. 6 or 7 of them. Tall, slow, covered in black. "No," Aries whispered. "They've found us." Eli turned. "Take the baby. Go upstairs. Lock the door." "What about you?" "I'll hold them off." "But—" The baby spoke again, this time to both of them. "They are not coming for you. They are coming for me. I am the prize." Aries held the child tight. "I won't let them take you. If they do." Your world ends. Eli looked at Aries. You believe it? I believe everything now. Footsteps echoed on the tower stairs. Aries rushed to the top level, the baby in her arms. She locked the trapdoor behind her. Below, Eli stood with the metal rod, breathing hard. Then the door burst open. They weren't soldiers, they weren't human. Their faces were covered in skin like masks. No eyes, no mouths. Just smooth, cold shapes. One of them stepped forward and spoke, not with words, but into the air. Return the child. This is not your fight. Eli raised the rod. Too bad. I already picked a side. Above, Aries whispered to the baby. Why did they make you? The baby looked up at her. Its eyes now shimmered like stars. To end what they started. To begin what you fear. Aries closed her eyes. A single tear rolled down her cheek. And she whispered, Then maybe I'll teach you something else. Asterisk thunder rolled across the hills. Lightning flashed for only a second, but that was enough. In the brief light, Eli saw their faces, or rather the lack of them. No eyes. No nose, no expression. The black-suited figures stood like shadows in the open doorway of the ranger tower. Rain poured down behind them. Wind howled through broken glass, but the creatures said nothing. They didn't need to. Eli raised the metal rod, his hands shaking. You're not taking that baby. A cold, dry voice echoed not from their mouths, but from the air around him. It is not yours. Step aside. Eli didn't move. It's not yours either. Another step forward. The figure's black boots echoed against the wooden floor. We created it. It belongs to us. Above, in the top room of the tower, Aries sat holding the child. She could feel the tension rising below. The air was thick with static. Her skin tingled. The baby was glowing again, its soft silver light reflecting in her eyes. Then she heard the voice, the same one Eli heard, but it spoke directly into her. Mind, returned the child. You are not part of this design. She held the baby tighter. I am now. The child looked up at her. For the first time it smiled, not a fake, eerie smile, but a real one, small, gentle. Aris's heart raced. You feel fear, don't you? The child nodded. Good, she whispered. That means you can also feel love. Below, Eli swung. The rod at the first figure. It didn't flinch. The rod hit its side, but instead of falling, the creature simply stepped back. A small crack appeared on its black suit, like glass under pressure. Eli was shocked. The others moved in, fast. Too fast. One grabbed his arm. Cold fingers like metal. He punched, kicked, but it was like fighting stone. Let go of me. He shouted, and then everything stopped. A wave of pressure filled the air. Like gravity twisting the room, the creatures froze. Eli looked around, gasping for air. He fell to the floor, feeling dizzy. Above him, the trapdoor slowly creaked open. Aries descended the stairs, her eyes glowing bright silver. In her arms, the baby shimmered like a star. The creatures turned toward her silent and still. She looked at them, her voice calm but sharp. I know what you are. Then you know you cannot stop us. You created life without a soul. She said, and now you fear what that soul will become. One creature stepped forward. You do not understand. That child is a key, a bridge between species, a weapon for future war. Aries shook her head. No, not a weapon, a choice. The baby blinked slowly, and then everything moved at once. A sudden pulse of light burst from the child. It wasn't hot, but it burned through the air like lightning. The windows shattered, the walls shook. The creatures staggered back, their suits cracking like old armor. Eli shielded his face. What's happening? Aries stood tall, holding the child like a shield. The baby's voice filled the room, not just in their heads, but in the walls, the floor, the very air. I was born for war, but I will not choose it. One of the creatures hissed. You are broken. No, the child replied. I am free. The creatures backed away, but one didn't. It lunged toward Aris. In one motion. Eli tackled it from the side. They fell to the floor, fighting. Eli punched again and again. The creature tried to grab him, but suddenly it froze. Its arms stiffened. Its body locked up. Then it cracked open like glass and dissolved into ash. Eli backed away, breathing hard. He looked up at Iris. Did you do that? She shook her head. No, he did. They both looked down at the child. Now staring at the ashes, the remaining figures stepped back toward the door. The prototype has rejected the code. The experiment has failed. We will return to the source. They turned and vanished into the rain, gone in an instant. No ships. No sounds, just ... Silence filled the tower. Only the sound of distant thunder remained. Later, Eli and Iris sat by the fire in the old tower. The baby rested quietly between them, wrapped in blankets. Eli stared into the flames. That wasn't a fight. That was a warning, Iris nodded. They'll come again, maybe not soon, but someday. Eli looked at her. What will you do? She looked down at the child. Teach him. Teach him what? To be more than they wanted him to be. The baby reached out, touching Eli's hand. For a second, a warm feeling moved through him. Not fear, not confusion, something like peace. He smiled slightly. He's learning already. Iris smiled too. So are we. The forest was quiet again. Too quiet. Days had passed since the attack at the tower. The strange black-suited beings had vanished like smoke, leaving no trace behind. But their warning still echoed in Iris's mind. The experiment has failed. But what if it hadn't? Iris stood at the edge of a lake, the baby in her arms. The child whom she had quietly named Lear watched the water with calm, glowing eyes. He no longer looked like a newborn. In just a few days he had grown, taller, smarter, stronger. Eli stood nearby, watching them both. He didn't speak. There was a weight in the air, something they all felt but couldn't describe. Iris finally spoke. He's not just evolving, he's remembering, Eli frowned. Remembering what? Things he was never meant to forget. That night, Iris dreamed. She stood in space, stars spinning slowly around her. Before her was a gate of light. Behind. It's something dark waited. From the darkness came a voice. Return the hybrid, or your world will burn. She looked down at Lyre, standing beside her, glowing like a sun. He looked up at her. Do I have to go? She woke up with tears in her eyes. The next morning she found Eli fixing the old radio tower. He looked up. Sleep? Okay? No, she said. I had the dream again. He nodded. Me too. They didn't say anything more for a moment. Then Iris said, They're coming back. Eli looked at her. When? Soon? Maybe hours? Maybe minutes. Eli tightened the last screw on the panel. Then we need a plan. Iris shook her head. We need a goodbye. Later that day, Iris took Lior deeper into the forest. Birds flew above them. Wind moved softly through the trees. For a while, everything felt normal, like a mother and child walking in peace. Lyre stopped near a tree and touched its bark. The leaves shimmered under his fingers, like responding to his energy. Iris knelt beside him. Do you know what you are? Lyre nodded slowly. A weapon. A gate. A test. But do you know what you want to be? He looked at her with glowing eyes. Yours! Suddenly the air changed. The birds flew away in silence, and from above, the sky split, not like a storm, like a tear in reality. A massive circle of black light opened high above the trees. From within it, long shapes moved, ships or creatures or both. Silent, dark, and massive. Eli ran toward them. They're here! Iris held Lyra close. Her hands trembled, then a voice boomed through the sky, not loud, but deep enough to shake the earth. Return the hybrid, or this world will fall. Lyre stepped forward. I'll go. Iris turned quickly. No, I know why they want me, Lyre said. And I know why I have to leave. Eli stepped closer. You don't have to do anything. You're just a kid. Lyre looked at him. I'm not anymore. Iris dropped to her knees. You are still my child. Lyre placed a small hand on her head. And you are still my mother. That will never change. The sky tore wider. Beams of light shone down like searchlights. Trees bent under the pressure. Eli shouted over the noise. Iris, we have to do something. She stood slowly, her eyes glowing, her body trembling, but not with fear, with power. I made my choice when I saved him, she said. Now he has to make his. Liar walked forward toward the light. The wind blew harder. The ground shook. Then he stopped. He looked back at Aries, and he smiled. Then he turned his face to the sky and raised both hands. A flash of light. White. Pure, endless. Not destructive, but cleansing. It expanded outward in a wide circle covering trees, mountains, the tower, and sky. The black gate above screamed. A sound like glass cracking in space echoed across the forest. Then, silence. The sky closed, the ships vanished, the light faded, and Liar was gone. Aries collapsed to her knees. Eli rushed to her side. "Where is he? Where did he go?" She shook her head, tears running down her cheeks. "I don't know." Days passed. The world did not burn. No one spoke of a strange sky or missing time or ships above the trees. But in the forest, far from cities and noise, Aries and Eli remained, quiet, healing. Every morning, Aries sat by the lake. And every morning, she looked to the sky and whispered his name, Liar. One day, as the sun rose behind the hills, a small flower bloomed by her feet. One she had never seen before, glowing faintly, silver petals. And from nowhere, a thought appeared in her. Mind, I am still yours.